Hello students, this is the fourth chapter from civics for revision and your fourth chapter is understanding laws. Now do laws apply to all? This is the question which arises in everyone's minds, that laws are available for everyone or to the particular group or for the individual. So does it apply to all, or it is having a special group which has to be followed? So there are several provisions in the constitution that would establish the rule of law. Rule of law means that all laws apply equality to all citizens of the country and no one can be above of the law. So as per the constitution, as equality is the key feature of constitution, and in preamble also it is mentioned. So equality means it is given to all citizen, each and every citizen, to every individual. So law is also meant for the every individual in that particular country. So nobody is above the law, everyone comes under the law, everyone has to follow the law. If anyone is violating it, then he or she would be punished according to what he or she has done. So several laws were evolved during the colonial period. Many laws was being evolved and implemented by the Britishers during the colonial period. The colonial law were arbitrary, for example the Rowlatt Act and Sedition Act. So as per their will and which is benefited to the Britishers, that kind of law has been made. So here one example, two are given. I would like to explain the one, that is Sedition Act. So what is Sedition Act? Sedition Act of 1870 was one of the most unfair laws used by the Britishers. Under this law, anyone could be imprisoned without a proper trial. They were not given that chance. The law was used to arrest great leaders such as Mahatma Gandhi, Bal Gangadhar Tilak and Annie Besant. So this law is still used in India. Anyone who brings or attempts to bring into hatred or contempt or excites an attempt to excite disaffection towards the government may be arrested on the charge of sedition. It means not following the laws what was being asked by the colonial group. So if they are breaking, if they are not working as per the will of the government, like the colonial group was ruling at that time, so they will be directly arrested. No trial were given to them. Indian nationalists played a prominent role in the evolution of the rule of law during the colonial period. So these were the people, mainly the Indian nationalists. They played an important role to just take off the wrong laws and to implement a new one or to amend a new one during the colonial period itself. So they protested against all the oppressive rules what was being forced and what was being asked by the colonial group to, which has to be followed by the citizen of our country. Now how do new law come about? Parliament passed several new laws as well as modify the existing ones. So new laws are also drafted or made, or they are passing on, and even they also can modify the existing one what is already being made. Citizens play a crucial role in bringing the attention of the parliament towards the serious issues of the problem. So who is asking to change or to pass a new law? So this is being done by the citizen itself, because they are on the ground level facing various issues. So that is being noticed, or the parliament's attention is being sought to look after or to look into the issues what are being faced by the common people. So by this they come to a conclusion to make a law. So how it is being made? TV reporters, newspapers, radio, local meeting influence the working of parliament and make it more accessible and transparent to the people. So whatever the work is being done by the parliament, that is being informed to us by the TV reporters, then newspapers, radio, and local meetings. Through the local meetings, it is being done. So, generally, because we cannot directly move to the parliament and can ask the things, so here the TV reporters, newspapers, radio, they work as the mediator in between the people and as well as the government. So they are the link, they inform us, and whatever do we feel, that is being informed by the same, the mediator, to the parliament. For example, we have already learnt in the chapter, that is several women's organizations demand a new law of domestic violence. So finally, a new bill was reintroduced in the parliament and approved by the president. Thus, the Protection of the Woman from Domestic Violence Act came into effect in 2006. So it was started some 1999, and from there it took 11 years to 12 years to came into effect. The domestic violence, the two women who has complained to the women's association, the two lady to whom they complain, and they don't want to go to the police station, and how the situation and incident was being shared to the number of women. They went village to village, surveyed, and came up with many cases. They understood that the domestic violence which was being faced by the women are the serious issues. One more example was given in your chapter, that was being Hindu succession amendment. So in the past they were not getting or not having any rights on the property, mainly to the wives and the daughters. Generally the property is given to the male child in the family, and wives, sisters, and daughters were not having any rights. So by this Hindu succession amendment, they got the right, even the wife, the mother, the sister, or the daughter, the whole property would be divided amongst everyone. So this is being highlighted by one of the daughter, one of the lady, that she is not getting property, she is also having the equal right, as the our constitution also states that equality is being provided by the constitution to each and everyone. The gender is not going to be discriminated. So in this way the property rights were given to the women also. Here we have to understand that the parliament is the supreme lawmaking body in our country. The state legislature can also make laws, but these laws are applicable only in the state concerned. Now, beside the state legislature can make laws only some limited matters that are mentioned in state list. So there are three kinds of lawmaking, that is state list. State list includes the law and order, healthcare, transport, etc. And the second list is known as concurrent list. It deals with education, electricity, drugs and poisons, etc. Now, there is only the union legislature who can make laws on the subjects mentioned in the union list. Now, union list deals with defense, foreign relation, railways, etc. So overall you understood there are three kind of list, and what kind of laws are being made and what is being looked after. It can also, the union law, it can also make laws on the matter covered in the concurrent list, and under special condition it can make laws on matter in the state list also. Under its residuary powers, it can make law on any matter that is not covered in any of the list. So union list in general the decision is taken for the whole country, so it can interfere into the state matters also and to the concurrent matter also, like education, electricity, drugs and poisons. And it also include like a river, if the two states are sharing one river, then what should be the law made if they were having conflict. So such many case we are having that we have understood in the chapter also, and we were having examples also. Now the other topic, that is unpopular and the controversial law. Before this topic we discuss, one point was left, how the bill was passed, the process of law making. So a bill, what is bill? As we have learnt in the preceding chapter, that it is a proposal for a new law or to change an old one. It means bill is not the ordinary type of bill what we are getting from the shop after purchasing. That is not that kind of bill. Any kind of law, if it has to be made or drafted, then these is represented in the parliament and in the form of bill. So that petition is called as bill. Now there are three types of bill: ordinary bills and money bills, and as well as constitutional amendment bills. So money bills relate to the money matters such as tax, laws. All other bills that are not related to changing the constitutions are the ordinary bill. Now a bill can be introduced either in either house by any of the member. There are two houses already we know, so any of the houses they can represent it. The only exception is money bill, which can be introduced only in the Lok Sabha by a member of government. So money bill has to be represented or introduced in Lok Sabha only. These member who introduce the bill makes a speech explaining the purpose of bill, and copy of the bill is distributed among the member so that they can become acquainted with it. This is called the first reading of a bill. So introduction of a bill, what the bill is talking about, what they want, and this bill is being distributed among all the member in the sabha, so that they want to know what was it and what was it telling about. So this is called as first reading. It means the introduction of the law. During the second reading, member discuss the bill thoroughly and make suggestion for change. If they felt that there should be some changes in the bill what is being already introduced, then they are making suggestions over there. The final form of the bill, after incorporating the necessary changes, is presented before the house during the third reading, and the bill is put to vote. If the majority of the member present in the house vote in favor of the bill is passed. It is then sent to the other house where it goes through some stages. So here what they are doing, before sending it to the third reading, they discuss, the necessary changes are made, then that is put into for voting. If the bill gets majority vote, then only the third procedure would start. It would be sent for the third reading for the other houses. Now the second house may pass the bill, in which case the bill is sent to the president for his or her approval. So after passed it to the other houses, the same procedure would also going on again over there, means the discussion, debate, changes, voting, everything is being done in the other house also. Then it is sent to the president for his or her approval. The second house may also send the bill back to the house where it is originated with the suggestion for the change. So the second house, if they had made any changes, then they are sent to the house again, that these are the changes what we have made in the bill. If they felt that the changes is correct, then there is no issue, they will resend to the other house again. But if they felt the changes is not in proper way, they want to debate it again, then it would be represented in the other session. So overall the parliament meets twice in a 1 year. So it is a long term journey to make a law. So bill is represented firstly in first 6 months, and nextly it would be drafted within 1 year, or the case what we have read in the chapter that it took 11 years to pass a law of domestic violence. So in short, the first reading, that is introduction in either houses, except the money bill. Then second reading, there it deals with discussion, changes, suggestion. Then three or third reading, that is final draft and voting. Other house, same procedure, written with changes and joins the session, means sending it back after the president's signature. Then bill is passed and it become law. So this is the procedure how the bill becomes an law. Unpopular and controversial laws. In a democracy, citizen can criticize unjust or repressive law framed by the parliament and thus pressurize it to change the law. So if the citizen felt that the law which has been passed by the parliament or framed by the parliament is repressive or unjust, then the citizen are pressurizing the parliament to change it, because in democracy the citizen is having every rights. They are having freedom to express their views and to tell their views what they feel, and even though the equality rights what is being given, if their fundamental right is being violated, so they can just ask to the government to change the thing whatever they have made. If the law favor one group and disregards the other, then that group can approach the court. So if they felt that it is benefiting or it is beneficial for one and disregard for the other, then they can approach to the court and can say that the law which is being framed, it is not being correct, while giving a proper reason. The court has the power to modify or cancel law if it finds that they don't adhere to the constitution. So here, who is the power to modify or cancel the law? The court is having. Already we know that the three organ, what's their duty to make the law? The legislature, then the executive who implements the law, and judiciary gives away the punishment, look after the law, and if anybody violates it, they punish according to the crime whatever the citizen has done. Rather than that, the court is also having the power to modify or to cancel the law which is not adhered to the constitution. Means if it is going against the constitution, promises us to provide us like equality, freedom, fraternity, all kind of thing, if it is being not according to that, if the law is not made according to that features what are being mentioned in the constitution, then the court is having the power to modify or cancel. So the involvement and enthusiasm of the people help parliament to perform its representative function properly. So here, who is playing an important role? The citizen. Their enthusiasm works for the parliament to work in a better way and to recreate what they have already framed, like changing the laws. We can amend the law if it is not benefiting to the to everyone, actually not to the one group but everyone. So few examples also we have read in our chapters, like the Right to Information Act 2005, that whatever the government work or the functioning is going on, that should be known by the person are having every right to know about the functioning of the government. Nextly, the street vendors we have discussed, like the municipal corporation has asked to just move out the hawkers and vendors from the pavement that is being used by the vendors and hawkers. So they were not having any place to just earn. The only place where they were earning, that was being taken away by the municipal corporation. So this was again the unjust law. So here many has protested because the lakhs of vendors and hawkers are earning their livelihood by selling their goods on the pavements itself. Now, so what was the solution? They were given the open ground, government ground, where they have to pay only the menial charges to the municipal corporation, and they set up their weekly markets. And even though they get the licenses, and paperwork could be done in the municipal corporation itself. So there are many such laws which was very unpopular, that was being framed by the parliament. But if we felt, or if we feel that that is not correct or unjust, then it could be changed. So the process that we have already learned over here. So your fourth chapter ends over here, the revision part, and go through the chapter video to understand in better way, and read the chapter also. Thank you.